Call our meeting back to order. Next item on the agenda was item E, consideration of agreement for purchase and sale of real property, Appendix L. Mr. Hance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. This is consideration for the purchase of 79.69 acres and as well as a 52,000 plus square foot facility off of Sidbury Road. Recommendation is for approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item F, glass repair and replacement, Appendix N. Mr. Hance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. This is for our annual glass replacement. It's set a contract in place. Recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions?
I guess just for, I don't know, interest. How much money did we spend on glass repair last year? Do you have any figure?
Well, this year, well, let's see.
I know what the contract's approved for, but we don't actually spend all that.
Well, that's an average over about a 5-year period. We've spent that. Some years we'll spend less. Some years it'll be a little bit more. It just depends on what occurs at the schools. Right now, we're running under. We estimate this year might be around $35,000 to $40,000 for this year, which is good because the average over about a 4 or 5 year period has averaged out to around 60,000, which is why we're doing the contract for 60,000.
So that's just for labor, that's not for the actual glass
It's glass
itself?
and-
Oh, it's glass and labor? Okay.
I know I've asked this before, Mr. Hanson. It really has nothing to do with this, but I'd like to ask it again at this time. We had talked one time about, I think it's 3M, this film that they make that you put on glass that you can't tell it's there, and then it's virtually impossible to break through.
It is. It's expensive.
Is that really expensive?
It is expensive, and you put it on for hurricane glass. And if you remember, we had a grant, I believe, several years ago, and I believe it was placed on some of the windows at Coddington, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Eddie? Yeah, at Coddington. We did that as a project. I believe that was called, I've forgotten what the name of the project was, but we had a grant for that, and we did that. But we could look into that, but it is expensive to do that. But you'll see it demonstrated
The company
around.
that makes that sent an email sometime back, and I was looking at it. It was just amazing to me that it showed an office that didn't have that on the glass, even though the doors were locked. And the governor walks up with an automatic rifle, and they had a clock there, a timer, and he started shooting. They set the clock, and he was in about 3 seconds, even though the door was, so he just shot the glass out and went in. Then they showed the same demonstration again with that film applied to the glass. And at 3 minutes, he was still banging and shooting and trying to get in. I mean, he eventually did, but by that time, you bought enough time to, do some other things.
There are different types of the film too that give you different levels of protection. But yeah, I've seen that too, and he eventually does get in.
Yeah.
But it does buy you a few minutes,
Right.
maybe.
Oh, he got in, but it took a while, and he was tired once he got in. We have a motion and a second. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item G, Xerox black and white copier lease agreement, Appendix O. Mr. Hance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. This is a lease for a black and white copier at the print shop, and so is the one following this for a color copier. Both are at the print shop. Recommend approval.
I would combine them and move for approval.
Okay. This is no problem. We'll combine G and H since they both Xerox copiers, Appendix O and P, and that's at the print shop.
Yes, it is.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Well, I already made the motion. So.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
second.
right. Okay, so we'll take Mrs. Nichols as a second. Other comments, questions?
I'd like to say I am just pleased with the quality of the work that's coming out of this print shop. When we get invitations or when they had the art awards breakfast, the just quality work, and that's impressive.
Thank you. I'll pass that on. Purchasing department, they will be very pleased to hear that, and they are saving significant amount of money as well with the printing that we do here versus contracting it out.
Are they the ones that took the artwork and made the placemats?
No, they made
Not sure.
classmates. Yes, they
Yeah,
did
they
that.
blew them up.
Placemats, yeah.
For the art That was really nice, those were.
Who did our invitation, who
And
did
they-
our thing for graduation?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's, her new administrative assistant.
Mm-hmm. She's doing a great job as well with level of expectation.
Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're approved. Item I, 2013-14 year-end amendment resolution, Appendix Q, Mary Hazel Small.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution would authorize me to approve budget amendments as of June 30th to balance budget to actual expenditures for state position allotments, as well as non-allotted line items, and to transfer state and local funds as needed to maximize state funding.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item J, 2014-15 interim budget resolution, Appendix R, Mary Hazel Small.
Well, this is one we hope we won't need, but assuming that we don't have a state budget by July 1st, this interim budget would allow us to continue operating at the current level until the budget is approved.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item K, 2014-15 workers' compensation policy, Appendix S, Mary Hazel Small.
This is for approval of a renewal with the North Carolina School Boards Trust for our workers' compensation policy.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item L, Title I application for 2014-15 school year, Appendix T. Dr. Smith.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Board Chairman. We would ask that you would approve the recommended Title I application for the 2014-2015 school year.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. It's been asked that there are further study. We're going to pull item M, move to item N, career and technical education, state, federal funding application, Appendix V. Dr. Smith.
Yes, sir. We have before you the career and technical education application for the 2014-2015 year, and we would ask that the board approve that that application.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item O, curriculum course guide, Appendix W. Dr. Smith.
Yes, sir. We are looking to add an additional course to our high school course offerings. It is an honors creative writing course. We are bringing this to you as a result of New Hanover High School specifically taking a look at their existing course offering and seeing some gaps in that, and they wanted to develop this course to make sure that they have opportunities that offer demanding and more challenging and varied writing opportunities for their students at the school. So we would ask that the board approve this addition to our curriculum course guide.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank
Approved.
you.
Item P, renewal of errors and omissions / general liability insurance for North Carolina School Boards Trust, Appendix X. Mr. Hance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. This is the renewal of our liability insurance policy with the School Boards Trust. Recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item Q, renewal of auto and garage liability insurance with risk management, Appendix Y. Mr. Hance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. This is the renewal of our automobile liability insurance through the County Risk Management Department. Recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item R, Wilmington Police Department, Appendix Z, Dr. Holliday.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. This is our annual renewal of our agreement with the Wilmington City Police Department to provide officers for our inner city schools. This cost has remained absolutely stable over the years, and it provides 1/3 of the cost of these officers, while the city picks up the other 2/3. Recommend approval.
Move for approval. Second.
Comments, questions?
How many officers is this?
4.
4, and where are they located?
Well, they are based primarily at the 2 high schools in our inner city, but they can respond to all of the schools that are in our inner city, and they do make rounds to the inner cities. Those 2 high schools, Dr. Hickey, would be, of course, New Hanover and Hoggard.
And this is paying 1/3 of the actual cost of our.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments?
Well, I guess the only comment I would make is, I still think the city should pick up the entire cost, but in light of how helpful they were to us after the Sandy Hook catastrophe, you know, how they responded and provided officers to our schools, I'm in favor of supporting the contract this year.
Thank you.
Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item S, paid lunch equity, increase lunch meal price, Appendix C, Mr. Hance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is increase in our lunch prices of 10 cents at the K-12 level and 5 cents at the pre-K level. And Ms. Smith, the Director of Child Nutrition, is here if we need to have any questions.
So how much, per the federal guidelines, how much are we required to increase the paid lunches?
We have to increase it based on the differential. There's a formula in the differential, which you saw in your backup.
Yeah.
And, Emer, you want to address this?
Wasn't that like 3% or something?
It's 4.7, 4.27.
You can charge to increase. There is a tool that we use to capture the amount that we need to look towards increasing every year. The goal is to increase it up to $2.65. And I don't know if would you like me to go through our presentation on this? Or no? So $2.65, and we are asking that we increase it to $2.35 for K through 12 and $2 at pre-K level. Now, there are 43 other counties that are at or above $2.35. So it is the norm to, and I do see that that will increase next year too.
What do we charge now?
$2.25.
And how much is the minimum we have to increase it by?
The minimum, $2.40 is the tool that I use that the federal government gave me to use. I do have the ability to round it down to 5 cents. The max that I can charge is 10 cents. So I did go up to $2.35. So this is a federal requirement according to the Section 205 of the Healthy Hunger Kids Free Act of 2010. It does ask that all LEAs look at what you are charging for a paid lunch meal, and then they do give us like an equation, a formula to use to kind of decide on how we're going to go about increasing the lunch meal prices, and the goal is $2.65. Now that can change every year, so that's for school year 14-15.
What would be the impact on the local school system from the federal government if we were to leave it at $2.25?
Well, it would have to come out of non-federal funds, and the difference is I would look at the difference from school year 13-14 and look at school year 13-14 and look at school year 14-15, and the difference is about it's looking around $10,000, $11,000, but that's just
So-
just some numbers that I
So
put
just so I can
together.
be clear, if we left it at $2.25, you're saying that the school system would have to absorb $10,000 to $15,000 of additional cost?
And that's just a minimum. I'm not sure, I don't have an exact number.
Okay, I'm trying to get an understanding, because, I mean, and I understand that you're kind of behind the eight ball on this
I
whole
am.
deal, because it's like so much other stuff the federal government sends us, they put such criterias on us as to what we can and cannot do. But, you know, I mean, and I know you can go to 265, I think you,
And that's the recommended federal
that's the
goal.
recommended
Right.
federal amount, and so, and in the thing said, you said that there's a likelihood that we may have to go up again next year.
Every year?
Possibility.
Possibility, yes.
All right, so every time that the school lunch price goes up, we would have to approve it, is that not correct? I mean, we're not approving that you could go up to 265 and not have to come back to the board, is that a fair statement, or are we approving that you could go to 265 if you needed to?
Well, I don't know if I would want to go that high all of a sudden.
No, I
Because it would make a
I
shock value
understand that,
on
but
our- on our parents.
what I'm trying to discern is whether or not every time that food lunch prices go up, like, for example, when we approved Mr. Hans's glass repair, we approved a number, but that's just an amount for an open-ended contract. Are we approving an open-ended contract saying that food prices could go to 265 over a period of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Or do you have to come back to us every time to increase the lunch? Otherwise, I guess I'm asking, why don't we just approve 235 and be done with it right now?
This
That
is,
sounds-
this is for 235, sir. This is not an open-ended request. This is for increasing to 235 for next year and to $2 for pre-K, 235 for K-12. And we will come back to you. If we have to increase next year based on the formulas and the law, we'll be bringing it back to you again at this time next year, asking you for another 5 or 10% increase, whatever is required by the statute, if that's necessary. But this is not asking for you to give us a window to 265.
Okay, I'm good. I just wanted to be certain, although I do feel for as I say, every year when we do this, you know, I had 3 kids in school at the same time, and, you know, I would be looking at $6.75 a day just for lunch, and, you know, times 5, I mean, I guess $30, $35 didn't sound like a whole lot, maybe in the grand scheme of things, but nevertheless, I am concerned at what school lunch prices seem to be going to. And that's the reason I wanted to make a point, too, that we're not just doing this arbitrarily. We're kind of forced into doing it by the rules and regulations that the federal government sends down to us.
Correct.
Which is why I'm a little confused as to, I mean, if this is something the federal government is essentially forcing us to do, why are we even voting on it? Why are we being required to approve it or not approve it?
Well, no, because we could approve a 5-cent a lunch increase, correct?
Or we could approve a no-cent lunch increase,
Well, no, if we
correct?
approve a no-cent increase, then we'd have to make up 5% using local funds per statute. But we can approve a 5-cent increase, so rather than increasing, we can increase it to, what's it now,
225. Yeah.
So we could increase it to 230, is that
Yeah,
correct?
the federal government, through the formula, told me that I needed to increase it to $2.40. Now, I do have the ability to round down to the nearest 5 cents. So I
Okay.
did round down to the nearest 5 cents, which is $2.35. I didn't want to impact the parents. 10 cents is a lot of money. I mean, if you have a lot of children.
If you have 3
So-
children in the school system, it
Right,
is.
so you want to
3
spread
boys, I
it
might
out
add.
slowly and gradually.
Okay, so this is the lowest we could increase it by
235.
statute?
Yes, sir.
Without having to pick up the additional part of our service.
What is it, and I know this is like one of those, if you admit this, the federal government might throw you in jail. What does it actually cost to, provide a
Produce
lunch?
meal,
That's
about
right.
$2.70 to produce a meal.
Okay.
So we're charging $2.35. So I make the difference up by my, my other federal.
The federal
free
reimbursed lunch.
reduced, because with a free reimbursement, for every free child, I get about $3.01. So, and then a la carte sales.
So
is
it's a la
another
carte
way.
helps you, you know.
Caterings, or another way that we make money. We're very creative in child nutrition, on how we increase our revenue to support our program. And we are very efficient, and we I don't know if I have I save paper. I have scrap paper. So I'm very efficient.
For the record, my student lunch accounts are paid up this time. Tammy, how about yours?
I think I did get a call the other day, but I'll make up for it, I
Yeah, there are
promise.
2 phone calls going out. So you might have gotten the good one. You might have gotten the one that just told you you had money on
And
your
it was
account.
Nathan again. I was, son, I don't know what he's doing with his money.
So I'm just asking that you approve the
Thanks,
$2.35 and pre-K $2.
And I have been told that I need to apologize to you because somebody saw our discussion about the last board meeting, and they said I sounded kind of angry. So I
didn't take it.
I
I
just
found
want,
that hard to believe, Mr. Higgins.
Was that your wife, Ed?
I found that hard to believe.
I wouldn't have put her on the spot, but she, yeah, that was my wife's, so I just wanted to say that I had, I
For the
did not-
record,
I-
Mr.
I did
Higgins
not
always appears
intend to,
angry.
and I'm trying to make a better effort to sound calmer and less aggressive. So
I didn't take it.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Ms. Smith. Next item is our closed session, but if there are no objections, after our closed session, because I'm not really sure how long that's going to take, the last item is our call to the audience. We've had one individual sign up, so if there are no objections, I would like to, at this point, go to item 14, which is our call to the audience. Are there any objections from the board?
None.
Okay, at this time, then we'll skip down to item 14, then we'll come back to item 12. This time we'll have our call to the audience. We've had one individual sign up, Mr. Hicks. And I don't guess I need to talk about the 3 minutes and all that kind of stuff.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here tonight, I guess, to speak about the delay of the hearing for Coach Rutledge for his appeal. And with just, we're requesting for the board to possibly reconsider, the delay where it was moved to June 18th. Hopefully we could get it moved up to possibly one day next week. I know y'all have a rough schedule next week, a very hectic schedule. And the reasons behind that are a lot of the seniors are having senior vacation after school next week ends. And we have several witnesses that would like to be at the hearing and have them available if they are needed. That's one reason. And the second reason is we want to stop the bickering back and forth between the parents and the students and the nasty emails and so forth, and just want to calm things down, get through with this, and get through with it in the right way. So we are asking for you to consider that at least, and we hope you will. And one other concern we have too is the 30 minutes of allotted time. I know it's not written in stone, and the board can, from what I understand, can change it, at the hearing if need be. But after we reviewed a lot of the documentation, it's a lot of information to go through, and we just feel it would be fair, really for both sides to have more time, and we wish that you would consider that also. And then one other thing also, after all this is done and a decision is made, possibly, we would also like for you to, delve into the AP scores for David Rutledge's first block psychology class. We think that that would be interesting to know, because to us, that reflects on his teaching abilities also. And again, thank you for listening, and thank you for having us here.
Thank you. This time we'll go back to item 12, which is a closed session for personnel. What statutes do I need to cite, Mr. Fuller?
Be the same one as before, 143-318.11A6.
Okay. They have been cited, thank you. Motion to go in closed session.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, we are in closed session.